Yo, yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fig, and you listen to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. Here we are once again, another 5 beats, another 5 reviews. And even though Christmas is right around the corner, we're still making beats, still doing stuff, still sampling stuff, still playing with keyboards and pads and all that. And it's good because, you know, who knows what Santa's going to bring. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get right into it. First up, we got Dob with Up and Down. Let's check it out.
Open the door, man. What the fuck, man? Yo.
All right. So that was Dob with Up and Down. All right, so for this track, you know, it's really good. I like it because the first thing I noticed was how the kick plays in so well with the bass. I mean, it just sounds really nice, you know, and that's really important because, you know, I mean, some people, when you're making beats, even for myself, you know, you just have your drums and you have your bass, let's say, but a lot of people forget, you know, you got to try to match things up, you know, you got to have the right frequencies, the right notes and everything like that. So with the kick and the bass, that's very important because it lays a nice foundation right there and stuff. So you don't always have to have the kick and bass, you know, match up like that necessarily, but it's really good if you do. You know, it makes a big difference and stuff. So that's the first thing I noticed was the kick and the bass. And the snare goes really well with the kick. Okay, it's nice and it's got that like lo-fi sound to it and all that. The one thing I would say is that the bass is a little too heavy though. So just play with the bass a bit. You know, it's just it's good. It sounds good. I just think that it's a little too heavy in the mix. Okay, and I like the keys, very smooth. That's some nice shit. It just sounds like a beat that's perfect for an MC. So I would roll with that, okay? And the guitar, the guitar's really nice. The only problem I have is that just for some reason, it just sounds like it's a little fast, like it's a little faster than it should be. You know what I mean? Just slightly. I don't know. It's just because you have the guitar playing behind the keys, then you hear the guitar just trail off and stuff, on its own, and that's okay. But I just think that it just needs to be a little slower. I think it's just I don't know. Just the way it's played or whatever, it just sounds a little too fast, whatever. But other than that, it sounds nice though. But it's a nice beat. I really like it. That's some dope shit. All right, so next up we've got Calavera with Burn. Let's check it out. All right, all right. Okay, so that was Calavera with Burn. All right, so this is interesting because this is kind of like the previous beat in a way. Okay, you got this nice guitar, it's dope. Okay, I would bring it down just slightly. It's one of those things where it's good. It's just that I would say either bring the guitar down just a bit, or keep it as is and then add something else in. But then as I kept listening, I was like, okay, here we go. Now you got the organ that comes in. So the organ's a nice fit. I like that. Okay, so it really fits well with that guitar and stuff. Although I would bring the guitar down just a little bit more. But it's good. I like it. Drums are tight. I like them. There's nothing wrong with the drums. I think they're really good. The bass is good. It sounds good. I just want to hear a little more of the bass. I think it's just a little too subtle in the mix. But I do like it though. It's nice. And the only thing that I think should be taken out really is that at the end you have the flute thing coming in. That I don't think you really need that, because when that comes in, it's just, I think at that point the mix is just very heavy. It's just very like noisy, let's say. So because it's in that high range with the keys, right, with the guitar. So I would just take that out, because the guitar is the main thing here, right? So I would just keep that, and I would get rid of that flute thing, because I just think it just clashes with the guitar a little much and stuff. But it's a nice track. Like I said, I think if you bring the bass up a bit, it would make the track a little livelier, because it's even though it is lively right now, it's just that it just sounds very dry. You know what I mean? So yeah. So bring up the bass a bit, maybe the guitar down a bit or something, and get rid of that flute. All right. So next up, we got Nelly Nell with Cuckind. I don't know how to pronounce that. Cuckind. All right, let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Nelly Nell with Cuckind. I don't know. Cuckind? I don't know. Maybe I misspelled it. Whatever. Yeah. All right. So, but yeah. Okay. So this beat, it reminds me of actually like the first beat here, where I was talking about how the kick goes so well with the bass, and in this case, the kick doesn't go with the bass. So, I mean, like I said in the first one, is that it's not necessary, but in your case, yeah, because it just doesn't go well with the bass. I think the kick is just kind of flat and dry, like it's just kind of sitting there. So, but that's not the main thing. I mean, the main thing I think is the bass, because the bass is I don't know, it's just like, you got your pattern or whatever, but I just don't like the bass sound, the sound of the bass. It's just I don't know. I mean, it sounds kind of like a sub bass, whatever, but it's pretty heavy. So So you got to be careful with that, because the whole mix actually is very, very heavy. It's very hot. So just be careful of the levels. But the bass, I don't know. I mean, keep the same pattern or whatever, but just change out the bass, do something, or just kind of EQ it so it's not so heavy, because right now it's very, very heavy in the mix. And because of that, you have that low violin pan to the right. And really, when you took that out, it sounded so much better, the beat, because I don't know, for me it was just too much. You get this heavy bass and you get this heavy violin on the right. You don't need that. So I would just get rid of that completely. And the violin you have on the left, pan left, put that in stereo, because it does sound nice when you have just that going. It does sound nice. I would have liked to have heard that in stereo and stuff, And you have your little breakdowns here and there and stuff, and the snare's fine and all that, but really it's just the kick, I think, is just a little too thin. It needs to be thicker. The bass, just lighten it up a bit and get rid of that low violin in the right there, because it was just too heavy, I think. Yeah. But I like the beat. I just think that some things just need to be adjusted. That's all it is, really. Yeah, that's it. All right, so next up we got Rifle Tear with Immortal. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Rifle Tear with Immortal. Immortal? I don't know. Maybe I spelled that one wrong too. I don't know, but I don't know what's wrong with me. But okay, so here we have a case where it's one of those things where I don't know. I don't know what you're using, or whatever. But it's one of those things where, you have the structure, you have the foundation. It's just that the sounds are all wrong. That's the thing. Because the bass, it's this heavy, it sounds kind of like it's a synthy dance bass, I would say. That's what it kind of sounds like. And as far as the synth, you could keep that pattern, whatever, but it's just the synth, to me, it's just out of tune, So I don't know if the synth is like that, if that's just the way it sounds, or if that's the way you played it or whatever, but it just sounds out of tune to me. So, at first I was thinking, well, maybe you should just get rid of that, keep the bass, but then as I kept listening, I was like, no, even the bass too, it's like they just don't match up. So I would just get rid of that completely, those sounds. And like I said, I'm not saying get rid of, those tracks. I'm just saying, I'm obviously using some kind of MIDI or some kind of synth or whatever. So, just swap it out with something that sounds a lot better. And for the drums, same thing, patterns good or whatever. You just need better drum sounds, they sound like stock drum sounds from, let's say, you know, some program, I don't know, like FL Studio or something like that. I don't know. Let's say, for example, I mean, it sounds like just some stock drums, some like very light drums or whatever, and you don't want that, you know. So you could use them, but you got to stack them with something else, you know. Especially for hip hop, you got to have some banging drums. So, you know, don't be afraid to sample something. I mean, grab some breakbeat, chop it up, and use that. You know, I mean, a lot of times I recommend you just use the breakbeat, just loop it. You know, you could do that in this case, but no, I mean, you know what? You want to learn how to stack it up or whatever and make it sound nice. So in your case, you know, look, I mean, take a famous breakbeat, chop it up, get your kick, your snare, your hat, and then run with that. You know, just do something with that. Same pattern or whatever, just substitute it with those drums, and you'll see right off the bat, it's going to sound so much better, you know? So right there, just get a nice drum track going with a sampled, with some sampled drums or whatever, and then you can build from there and stuff, you know. So, you know, because, you know, I've seen this a million times. I mean, you know, people are, you know, they have a nice foundation, they just don't have the right sounds, man. You just got to find those sounds, find some VSTs, whatever it is you use, and just find some nice sounding stuff and substitute it out. You know, just swap it out, make a big difference. All right, so next up we've got the last beat. It's Stax Beats UK, I think. Yeah, Stax Beats UK with Freda. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Stax Beats UK with Frida. All right, so this track, you know, with this one, look, I like the beat. It's dope, okay? The main thing is the mix. That's the main thing, is that, first of all, it's very heavy, okay? It's very hot, the mix. So you got to watch those levels, okay? That's the main thing. As I'm listening to the beat, I'm like, look, yo, this is a nice beat. It's just that the thing is that it's the mix, unfortunately, that's just taken away from it. I mean, because... for example, the drums are very heavy in the mix, so then, you know, the snare, when the snare hits, it's so loud, so it snaps so loud that it's just so loud in the mix, and it just kind of cuts off the other instruments, you know what I mean? So that's why you just got to be careful with the mix, you know, especially in your case with the drums, you know, like it's just very heavy. So yeah, that's the main thing, because the beat's nice. I like the beat. It's just that, I don't know, man, you know, I mean, you did a good job with the synths and everything like that, you know. The low end's a little heavy, but it, you know, it does fit for this type of beat, for the trap beat or whatever. But Yeah, it's just the levels, man. You just gotta. I think it just needs to be mixed a little better, you know. And I don't know why. I mean, a lot of guys they mix very very hot, you know, and that's one of the things you gotta be very careful of when you're mixing. You know, you gotta make sure you're not going into the red all the time and stuff, you know. So, but I do like what you did with the beat. You know, you had some nice change ups and all that, and everything's good. It's just that it just needs to be mixed a little better. That's the main thing, you know. And watch those levels, man. And that goes to all you guys, man. Watch those levels, you know. But yeah, it's a nice beat. But like I said, unfortunately, it's because of the mix that it just kind of takes away from it, you know, from listening to it. And you know, like I said with the snare, you know, that's the main thing is when I listen to that snare, when it hits, it just kind of cuts off everything else that's in that space, you know. So yeah, you just gotta be careful of that shit, you know. But I do like the beat though. Some dope shit. All right, so that's it from me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attacking the Beats, and keep sending the beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat this time, the winner is, drumroll please, Dob with Up and Down. Let's check it out.
Come on, man. I'll pay you more fucking killer. Open the door.